Welcome to Awake to Oneness Radio. I am Caroline Chang, your host. The mission of Awake to Oneness Radio is to inspire the world to awaken to the universal truth of oneness. Science is now teaching us that all life is interconnected and interdependent, and spirituality and ancient wisdom has been teaching us this for eons. So what you do to another person, you're literally doing to another aspect of yourself. And when mankind awakens to the universal truth of oneness, there will be peace on earth. Today's show topic is The Way to Oneness with Margaret Rogers Van Coops. Welcome, Margaret, to Awake to Oneness Radio.
Thank you so much for having me on. And I would like to begin by just saying, I started the oneness when I was a little kid.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Nobody knew what it was. And I actually heard the voice of God. It was like sound around everywhere. And I was 4.5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing. It was an incredible moment. And, that's God said, I am the one.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, okay, the one. I'm scared stiff because Fast forward to 14 years old, and
Okay.
I'm still hearing the one. And then God said, it is expanded in all things I am. And in the I am is my existence in all things. And then I said, well, what is all things? He said, oneness. And I downloaded that.
Mm-hmm.
Went out into the world and I taught people that word, because wherever I went, they go like, what's that? Because they believed in heaven and hell.
Right.
We're in the middle somewhere. And so I spent a lot of years in England until I was 40 talking about the oneness and educating it. And then I got over to the States and nobody knew it here. And then I got over to Japan and nobody knew it there. Then I got over to Egypt and so on. So I guess I'm the beginning root somewhere.
Right.
Studying it.
Yes. Well, the word oneness, I can't honestly remember when I first heard the word oneness. I know my understanding of oneness came from quantum physics, actually, from science. Yes. Yeah. From science. But I can't honestly say I can honestly remember when I actually first heard the word oneness. But it wasn't hearing the word, it was understanding the meaning that changed my life. Yes. Right. Yes. So I was you started out right where I wanted you to start at the very beginning. I was gonna ask you to please share with our listeners your journey, and like you said, you started from almost birth. So please share.
Well, okay. First of all, London was being bombed by Germany every night, and they had what they called V1 bombs that dropped. And when they dropped, they kind of stopped. The motor was running, the hear run, pop, 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 like that, and then it would stop, and then it would glide down. And if you heard it stop over your head at the time, then you knew that it was not going to land on you. Well, this one came, but it carried on, and it landed across the road on a block of flats, apartments as they call them here, and wiped them out and damaged a lot of people. And Mum had literally just birthed me, and they were cutting the cord, and that was my arrival. And
oh my goodness!
I don't obviously remember it. It's all Mum's stories telling me, and I wrote it in my book. I've just written a book called My Journey into Oneness.
Okay.
And in that, I tell the story. So, I don't fill everybody up too much. But the nurses came after they, healed whatever they had to do to the wounded. They heard I'd been born. They came and held me. And apparently they went from the jitters to, So I guess I came in with healing. And then the follow-up story of that is I was around 3.
Okay.
And in 95, when the B2 bomb dropped across the road and wiped out 3 stores and the families living above. And so that was a second near miss to me. And the difference with the V2 is it winds and it didn't go on its journey, it walked. So my mother literally thought that this was it. We were going to die.
Right.
At that time, I was made to stand in the hallway. I was like, you know, she was over the top of me, protecting me in the corner of the front door, because that's the only place there was no glass, you know.
Right.
And I had a feeling to look over her shoulder, and I saw an angel, but I didn't know what an angel's name was. You know, it was just all white, complete with the wings, the whole thing.
Right.
And I looked at him, and then the next thing I knew, there was something. And I'm thinking, like an adult, I'm thinking there's a baby crying somewhere. And then I was back in my body and I realized it was me crying.
Oh.
So when I came out of body at that time, I was an adult. I was not a child. And that was so interesting because over the years I was thinking about that. I had to work on it and understand it.
Wow.
And so by the time my father came back from the war, which was my 45, which year am I in, which century? And he was an officer. And short version of that story is by the time I was 7 or 8, it's hard to remember exactly when, I had sat on the laps of all the wounded soldiers who'd survived in their regimental reunion meeting once every month.
Wow.
And so when I sat on their laps, I could see their auras go from yucky dark blues and green and, you know, horrible colors to pearlesque, you know, like mother of pearl. Oh. And then I knew I could jump down. They used to get so hot. And they give me pennies, old-fashioned big pennies like this, and I could put them in the penny slot machine and watch the, you know, cherries go round and round, and maybe I'd win a couple, and then someone else said, "Oh, come and sit on my lap. I'll give you a couple of pennies," you know. And I was feeling them, and I didn't realize it. So when I was 8, they decided to make me the only female member of what was called the Suffolk Regiment. And I'd stand and salute and like this. And I was up there with brigadiers and generals, and the whole battalion marched by and arms right saluted me. And I knew how important that was. And I had already said I want to be a nurse.
Right.
And that was it. That was the final hypnosis moment. I'm here to save people, to heal people. And that's what I've always done.
Mm-hmm.
Short version of my introduction. There were many little itty-bitty stories in between, and I had to make a lot of choices in what to say and what not to say in the book itself.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And I think I have that book right here. Well, I thought I had it right next to me, but I can't grab it. But I have that book. Thank you so much for sending me a copy. That's the book. Yes, yes.
That's the way to oneness.
The way to oneness, yes.
And it's now republished as Journey into an Unknown World.
Yes.
The Way to Oneness Revisited, because I updated it with my stories that were in there, because the text was dry. Downloading.
Right, right.
And it was published in Germany first. I'm not giving the whole story, it'd take too long, but bottom line is Spirit Oneness told me to go to Germany.
Okay.
I had no idea what the book fair was like. I went and I tried pitching it to people, all in English, of course. And on the way out, there was a tiny little like outhouse size compared with all the convention centers. Right. And I suddenly get this head burning thing. It's like flames coming out of my head. That's how it feels. Very uncomfortable. But I know this is important. So I go in there. There's like 8 booths. And one is nobody's there, so I think, oh, well, I don't know why I'm in here. And I start to walk away, and I hear a voice say, "Have you got it?" And I turned around, and there was a man in the booth that I thought was empty, being behind a grate. And I said to him, "You know I have it?" Because he's German, yeah. I said, "You know I have it?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "How do you know?" And he said, that's what he said. And he took that, I had that manuscript, it's like that, you know. And in those days you had to do that. And he took it like it was a baby. And held it like this. And he said, "I will read it on the plane and I will let you know within 2 weeks if I'm going to publish it. And of course it will take time to translate it into German." Fast forward, of course, it was published in German. and it was the first metaphysical book to go into East Berlin.
Wow.
I had no idea when I got on that train from England to go to Germany, and fly over and whatever I did, that was going to happen.
Wow.
And they sold 12,000 copies within a month.
That is awesome. Yes.
Put my son through university for a year.
Great. Awesome. So you're saying, so when you started receiving messages, the messages would say that God would say he's the one, or he is the one, or oneness, or oneness.
Yeah, because in those days one believed that God was male, and you got to remember, I'm 75, so back in those days, no computers, nothing, word of mouth was the thing, and so I was very much, in many ways, like, you're weird, you're woo-woo,
Well, thankfully now the word oneness is actually starting to grow. I mean, I know when I started my show almost 3 years ago now, people would ask me, what is this oneness? Is it a new religion? And I said, no. To me, oneness is the opposite of a religion, because for me, oneness is everything. Doesn't matter what your religion, your culture, nothing matters. You're still a part of the one. You're still a part of oneness. And so when I think of oneness, it definitely is not a religion. And I love the fact that it was science that helped awaken me to the truth of oneness, because it really blew my mind when I found science proved over 100 years ago. So we're not even talking new science. Science has proven that everything is energy, and that energy is all interconnected and interdependent. And science proved this over 100 years ago. So why mankind has not awakened to this truth by now, it's a mystery, because it's so obvious and it's so simple that everything is a part of God, what we call, if you want to call God, universe, love. I like, the best word I like for God is love. And everything is a part of that love and interdependent. So, yes.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. But I'm not saying that I'm a lot older than you, but...
you know what? You don't, I mean, no one would believe you're 75 years old.
I wasn't fishing, but thank you. But what I did want to say was that, back in my school years, especially, it wasn't easy. My father had post-traumatic stress disorder, which wasn't defined. So at 8 years old, I'm curing him. Yes. It was like I brought with me my psychology, my psychiatry, and all those things. But of course, I didn't have words for it. I just knew what this was wrong and that was wrong, and I would fix it. But I myself was traumatized so many times through my family. Where, now we use the word dysfunctional, but in those days we were upper class, and it was like, why the hell are you doing we're upper class? Grandpa used to go and play with the king and queen at the palace, and okay, so what? Mum's running around in holy vests, got no money, the lordships disappeared. Why are you talking about this? And you've got to remember, I was in the period of segregation, and I've come in with, we're all the same. So I'm hearing, you can't meet that person because they only work in a factory. I mean, literally. And yet my dad would tip his hat to the factory man, because he know that man, without him in the factory, we wouldn't have whatever's on the table. So there was very much a family thing that was important that I got ingrained in me. And I'm missing that today, not in myself, obviously it's been tempered and changed, but I'm missing it in the people of the world today. They're not appreciating. For example, I put my trash out yesterday, and I said silently to myself, thank you, trash man, because I don't even know who he is, for collecting it. Yes. Because if we didn't, look what mess and stink we're going to have.
Yes.
And people have forgotten that. And in a way, these disasters that we've got, like the hurricanes, have really flattened those countries, or our country. But I'm hoping they're looking there when they bond together and start rebuilding like we did during World War II, back then and
Right.
before I was ever born, World War One, is tragedy brings us together. I wish it didn't. I wish it would bring us together in joy.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter whether you're a trash man or a king of a country. When it comes down to it, we all have emotions, we all have thoughts, and we are responsible within ourselves for how we project that we have. And when you said love, I had so much love to give the world, and so many people, what they wanted to do was destroy it, because they don't know how to handle love. What do you think about that one?
Right. Yes. Well, that's so true. I have heard about the hurricanes, but most of my listeners that listen to me regular know I have not watched news since 9/11. I have not watched news in 16 years. So, but I do hear news comes to me. I do that to keep my vibration high, because I know everything is vibration. And I actually, when Spirit told me to stop watching the news a few weeks after 9/11, I didn't know why. But I heard clearly inside from it within, Spirit said, turn off that news and don't ever turn it on. And I didn't know why. I'm like, why? But okay, I'll do it. I didn't find out till years later, because the news has the vibration of the news is to lower. Actually, I want to say that almost the mission of the news is to lower the masses' vibration, to keep us, and that's the only way we give away our power, is when we are in a state of fear. And a lot of people watching will sit and watch the news and become fearful. And that fear is giving away our innate power within. So, but I have heard, and like you said, it's true. Tragedy does bring people together. So, in a sense, all these hurricanes and all these tragedies are bringing people together in a way where they're working together and helping each other, helping your neighbor, and helping people, even people who are probably coming from all over, to help people affected from the tragedy. So it has that coming together aspect of it. So that's what I would look at. I try to take whatever is going on and look at the positive and the beauty that is coming out of it.
Yeah, I wish I could say that I can always do the same, because I know that the oneness is not just the positive, actually. In my book, Quantum Entanglement, A Paranormal Point of View, which is another book I've written, I explain the oneness. And we have the lower part of the oneness, and we have the higher part of the oneness. And they must entwine, and they must have construction and destruction. And we're in a destructive mode right now, because the way of our belief systems and everything that we have has, as I said, we've lost our values, we've lost our appreciations, we've lost our trust in one another, and so on. So the Aquarian age, as you know, is the new age. But what people don't know is we're in the second spiritual age for the oneness.
Okay.
And so that turned around in 2008. And if you add up 8 and 2, it's 10, and 1 is 1. And before that, we had like an overlap of the Piscean and the Aquarian age. We're all going around in this loop in the middle here. And it was very disturbing for me, because every time I'm teaching something and I've got smiley faces on my students or whatever, and then I come home and see, riots and destruction. I mean, look what Egypt did to itself. You wouldn't know if you didn't watch it, but Egypt actually destroyed their own history, and those wonderful relics were all gone. But coming back to something you said, the Two Towers. I knew that was going to happen in 1985. I was up there. I wrote about it in the books, some of my books. And the first one I got out, and I said to my husband, Steve, I said, this isn't safe, this building. I feel like the girders are going to collapse. And I mean, it's wobbling with the wind because it has. He says, "Oh, it's just because of the, you know, the way it's built." And I said, "No, it's unsafe."
Mm-hmm.
So we get down. I want to leave. So we get down on the ground, and I feel unsafe. And then I feel like I have to go up the second one because that's stupid, you know. So
Right.
the second one, I can't even get out the elevator. I'm holding the door and going like this. Well, I seen it, you know.
Okay.
And I said to him, I have to go down. And I got down on the ground and I said, I don't know, but something bad is going to happen here.
Okay.
So 2 days later, I had a day off because I was doing Mind, Body and Spirit Expo in New York.
Right.
And so we go to Staten Island. And I want to see the two doubts. And as I'm looking, I see them go like that in my mind. I see the vision. But before they go down, I see these two planes.
Okay.
And I said to my husband, are people allowed to fly planes around from tall buildings? He said, no, not really. I said, well, in my vision, there's two planes. So maybe, because in those days, we're talking about Educator's philosophy that he thought the water was going to come in over Maine and down through the Great Lakes and flood out New York and stuff. Right. So I'm rationalizing now what I've seen. And I said, well, maybe there's going to be this big flood and some people are in a plane and they're safe. My point here of telling the story is not so much to show that I got it, you know, years before it happened, which is oneness doesn't know time.
Right.
So that's hard to define. It's not about that. It's about how we as judgmental beings can rationalize and excuse and justify what we believe could be and go off track because we don't know how to be omnipresent.
Right.
Omnipresent. Yes. What that means is I'm fully aware of my five senses and my spirit is in there, noticing how everyone around me is responding and noticing how I am able to respond in the right manner and the right way so that everyone is clear. And what I see about me all the time, especially lately with the planets where they are, it's constant confusion. And people assuming and guessing and judging and whatever all around it and getting angry and upset in different ways for different reasons, whether it's a marriage or blaming and shaming or it's a work boss or something, you know, I'm hearing it over and over again for the last 7 years. And that's ever since we've kind of gone in, you know, into the vibration of the second spiritual age.
Right.
And we are known as human beings here on earth who don't give up easily. We don't surrender. We fight and fight and fight for what we believe in. And it is destructive if it's against ourselves. And 90% of what I see around people is they're against themselves.
Yes.
And how do you support yourself? You've got to love yourself, first of all.
Yes.
And most people don't get taught that. The kids today, their minds are in my 2-year-old grandchildren, and they're all super duper with kids on the computer.
Right.
At 2 years old. It's like anyway, that's my little long speech.
Yes. No, that's amazing. No, exactly what you were saying about oneness being, it's the yin and the yang. It's the black and the white. It is, and when you understand the truth of oneness, there is no judgment because you know it's all a part. To judge something is to judge the oneness. So it's all a part of the one because there's nothing outside of oneness. So exactly true that there is only the and you need in this reality, in this duality reality we're in, you need the black and the white, you need the contrast or you wouldn't see. You get to see, but it's just a contrast. That's all it is. It's one is not better than the other. That's where the non-judgment, when you see it, when you see everything as part of one, as part of the one, there is no judgment. So it takes away all of the judgment.
Yeah, ideally, when we think that way, that's how it should be. But I want to use a snow peas pod here, for example. One is the pod, and inside are all the little peas and their little seeds. And if you look at the little peas, they may look identical, but they may even taste differently because some are a little bit more sweet than another, you know, another one might have a little blight on it or something when you open it. And in a way, what I'm leading to say here is we come in with a coding. It's called the soul structure coding. And our job is to use it.
Mm-hmm.
And using it in the negative is going to shake up the world, i.e. someone going out and shooting everybody. It's terrible. We don't want to judge it. We want to go into the overview and say it's happened for a reason.
Exactly.
We want to say, put down guns, you know, or put down the sword when it was 5 centuries ago. You know,
Right.
Stop warring, stop fighting, and realize it's not them out there, their fault. It's me inside here I have to fix.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Well, when I said what I said, it wasn't that when I say no judging, it's not that I'm condoning everything that's being done. It's just saying I know that, like you just said, anything outside of me is the illusion. It comes from within, and we all collectively go within and change the mirror, because I call it a holographic multidimensional mirror. And to change the holographic multidimensional mirror, you have to first start with love within and change within, and let that interchange be the reflection. And when the interchange, then you'll see the reflection in the outer world. But it just, for me, it takes away judgment. I don't judge anyone. I don't judge anything. I know, and I know that it is there for a reason. Everything is happening in perfect divine order. So even if my human consciousness, I can't figure out why, but I know if it happened for a reason, and it happened for our highest good. So it's happening for a reason and for our highest good.
There's a lot of people that can't understand that because they're so steeped in, you know, for example, teaching in Japan for so many years. When I first went there, they were all wearing their kimonos and katans and different things that they wore in the street. That was their life. Today, if you go there, they're westernized, and suddenly there's someone with a kimono on, and you're going, oh my God, there's because their tradition has changed so much, and you usually find out that they're either going to a wedding or they're working in a job in a hotel where they have to wear one.
Okay.
So, when I look at those in India, when I was in India, people just, I need to go and sit there right in front of me and booth. Like, what am I looking at?
Right.
And I wasn't well off, but when I came back from India, and I've been chanting Rama and all the great sages, Moses, Abraham, Ezekiel, all those, they all talk to me. So, I came home from India with, I'm rich, I have my spirit, I have the oneness, I'm supported by them, and I still have to struggle with a husband that's drinking and kids are all over the place and so on. We have to go through those hardships in order for us to say, why is this happening, first of all? And then look around and ask, how much of me am I a part of that? Because we're all in a big play, a drama.
Yes.
If we don't play our part well, which might be yelling at, say I suddenly yelled at you. Suppose, we were, yelling. It would be about, why are you two yelling? Well, we're testing our strength, our power, our endurance, our word of mouth, our whatever. Meanwhile, the oneness is looking down going, oh, good, that's going to set them up for the next happening next time when they protect themselves.
Right,
so
exactly.
People can't see these things because there's no one really talking about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, for me, the other thing is I know that as a divine aspect of God, I am creating this play. And and I know that every challenge I go through, I chose that challenge. I set that challenge up for my awakening, for whatever challenge. All challenges are blessings in disguise. So I know that no one is doing anything to me. I am doing it all to myself. I am creating this play, this dream, this illusion. We're all really, we've never been separated from the one. We've never been separated from God, and we can't be. It's impossible. But we can think that we are. We can pretend that we are, and we can create this drama. We create. So when something happens, I first own it. It's like, I created that. Not sure why. Sometimes I do know why. It's like, okay. But whatever happens, whatever I experience, I look at it and say, I created it. And so, yes. But I understand what you mean when you say not everybody is there. Not everybody is
so
there.
It tests us. It tests us in our sense of awareness to use the 5 senses, and it brings in the psychic senses. And, you know, I have a way of teaching people through vision to go in one day from I am not psychic to being able to read anyone.
Oh,
and
please share. Can you share? Can you share some of it? I mean, I know it's probably you can't, but can you share some things that our listeners?
I can share it, but I have to set it up a little bit. First of all, I channel everything. So I was drawing back in the days when, and it was like I was tracing on a paper, and I could just see these outlines. I was drawing it in Indian ink, and then I got from them the second night. It's 4 hours to do that, and the second night kids are in bed. Paint it, and the only paint I've got in the house is kids' paint. So the original was pretty dull. I didn't like it, but they said, "This is your oneness card." And I'm like, "Oneness? What do you mean?" They said, "One card, not a whole bunch of tarot cards."
Okay.
So I thought, "Oh, I have to get it printed." So I hopped down to the local printer and said, "Oh yeah, we can do that. Color separation, this and that. It cost you £5,000. Well, so it went in the drawer, and I forgot about it. And then with Japan, and color copying over time, I ended up with those colors turned out to look chocolate box. It was just amazing.
Oh.
And of course, I could color, you know, in those days for like, I don't know, $3 a copy on card, you know. And I went off to Japan with it. And what I told them was, like, supposing you want to ask yourself, should I go to work or not today? Well, you don't want to say or not. You would say, should I go to work? Single word.
Okay.
Single word. No alternative. Okay. That's
right.
one mistake most people make, by the way. When you ask a question of yourself, never ask 2 questions at the same time.
Okay. Good advice.
Yes.
Yes.
So, having done that, then let's say, well, should I go to work today? You then scan the card. There are lots of different images on it. And let's say in the middle is a peacock, and the peacock has its feathers down. So it's not bragging, right? It's not showing all its glory. So I would think, okay, that means for me right now, as I'm seeing that I can lay low. I don't have to go to work today.
Okay.
It's not an answer. It's that simple. And I don't have to rationalize, well, what will my boss think, and so on and so forth. I can just say, call in and say, I'm sorry, I'm not coming today.
Okay.
Whatever they do on the other side of that is their space and how they respond to it. And if they fire me, okay, I've invited that, as you said.
Right.
But on the other side, that might be the sign I need to move on to my next job.
Exactly.
So I started teaching them like this. And I don't think I have a copy in here. This is my husband's office. But it's now in a book called Expanding Images with the Omni card. And the first 60 pages are teaching you how to be psychic and to use that card. Only the card's a page now, and there's one in the front and one at the back. And if someone wants to cut out the one at the back, for example, they could, and then go and laminate it or photocopy it onto a card and laminate it. What I encourage my students to do. And then you can pull it out anytime you want and just ask yourself that question. And if you're stuck, you go to the second part of the book. There, I've written what that image means.
Okay.
Just so you know where it is. You can just flip through and find it, even though it's an index.
Okay.
And then there's yes and no suggestions, because if you can't quite work it out, I'm helping you out with those suggestions.
Okay.
But anyway, coming back to Japan, the first time I took it, I had 50 people in the class. And I said, is anyone psychic? And this hand came up like this.
Mm-hmm.
And she's looking around like this, you know. And she's the only one.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, because I had them do exercises and work with that card, and at the end of the day, they couldn't reach high enough.
Oh,
They
okay.
were so excited because there wasn't one person in the room that couldn't read the other people. And that's the point of it. We have to be able to read one another. We have to be able, I have to feel your energy. Now, you're not even in the room with me.
Right.
Okay? But I could read you. I don't want to do that right now because we go off the focus of oneness. But
okay.
I can read you. Now, if I never saw you, met you as before when I had the email.
Right. Right.
You fit exactly what I had in my head from just your email.
Oh, okay.
So you got that lovely smile. I saw
Thank you.
that, and I saw your color, and I saw that you were small, petite, and so on. You know, so it was just, oh yes, you know, for me, because I connect. Well, there are people around the world who, you know, they'll send me an email. I have 3 questions, and I do a variation on how much, depending on the country. So if it's like a poor country,
right,
I could say just send me what you can afford. It might be $20. Whereas if it's a rich country, then I'll dollar it into their money and say my fee.
Right.
And I've never ever in my whole life had anyone not pay me or thank me with something and tell me I was wrong or something like that. I had such a good connection, a solid connection. And here I'm coming back to the angel I saw. That was Archangel Haniel. And it's Haniel. If you know your Bible and you know your Christian faith, he's one of the 7 archangels. We've got Michael, we've got Gabriel, we've got Raphael, and that's Haniel's time.
Okay. Haniel
is the communicator. They're all joined together, the angels, but you read that in that book you mentioned. So Haniel's, what he's dealing with is 2,500 years approximately. We've just started on learning to communicate with the oneness, to communicate with one another in oneness. Right. So here's my little example. You're walking down the road. I've been using this one lately.
Okay.
You're walking down the road and suddenly you get pain here, right here on your shoulder, right? You see my shoulder there.
Right, yes.
And you think, oh, it must be my purse or something. And what you don't realize is that you've just felt someone who's in your soul group, which is like one cell of the oneness in your body, okay, because it's massive. And you've just felt that person get shot. And it disappears once that pain goes away because they're healed or something's happened. It disappears. In the same way, if one of your people on the earth is, say, living in Africa and they have a motor car accident, you suddenly feel like your stomach's dropping. You think something's happened. I must call my family and find out if they're all safe.
Right,
you have a sense of an accident.
Yes.
What you don't realize when you call them, they're all safe, you know, and then you realize, oh, it must be something somewhere else. I had that today. I woke up this morning and I felt like my stomach had lost it. And I felt worried and agitated, and I'm not normally like that. And I said to my husband, something's going on somewhere in this world. Like you, I don't follow the news, but Steve, my husband, he has one in every room in the house, so he can follow and keep up with it. And I'm like, down, you know, because he's also a bit deaf. So that's his journey, and he wants to be up to date with what's happening politically.
Yes.
And I can understand why, because for those kind of people, it's their journey to see what's wrong with our system and come to a conclusion when the opportunity arrives later to revamp our system.
Yes.
That system will revamp according to the young ones or the new generation of children on this planet.
Yes.
I.e. 2-year-olds that can come out on stage and perform like they're 20.
Yes,
I wrote
this
a book
is true.
about that too. It's called discover your baby spirit. And I tell you, even before, you see, you have to wait about 5 generations for you to be born. You've got your ancestors. You've got to let all that happen before you can come down, because they set up the stage for you to arrive, so you can do what you're going to do. So I explain in the book the setup, the soul structure coding, the idea in the mother that I'm going to go down this road and I'll get raped, or I married Prince Charming, you know, blah, 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 and I have a baby. It doesn't matter which way it happens. We set ourselves up to have that baby. That spirit is already worked, you know, close for the last 2 years or so before you ever get pregnant. And then when you do get pregnant, the first trimester is the mother growing the baby like a leaf on a tree. The spirit is around. It doesn't stay in the body. But when the baby quickens, that's when the spirit enters the body. And when we enter the body, we don't stay in it all the time. We come out. And you, every night, for example, while you're sleeping, you're going to come out. Otherwise, you're locked up, you know, and you can't express who you are as a spirit, as a free being. So it's no different in the womb. We've got to come out. You know? And even as I speak, I'm waiting for one of my sons and his wife. They're having their 8th child.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
He hasn't popped out yet. So we're waiting.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. That is exciting.
Well, it's exciting. There's a lot of children. I thought 4 was not bad enough. They seem to love it. So when did you come to the States? I know you were born and raised in England. So you've been here. 1982, I came on tour. Because I was famous in England. England's a small country, so it's pretty easy to eventually become famous. And the way I became famous was through magazines and things like Psychic News, and you know, it's very difficult to get on television at all. So a few times I did, it was in the news, and I would I remember one time there was a sugar shortage, and somebody stopped me and asked me, what do you think about the sugar shortage? And I used it, and I said, well, it's there for a reason. Those with sweet tooth, whatever the expression was, will learn to go on the other side and appreciate salt. And I said, well, it's all part of learning, but we don't need. And I didn't mention the word psychic, you see. So, but it got played on the news. So but you can see my face, you know. So it helped. And then the radio, I went on tour with radios, and it was funny because my manager set up all the bee towns. Bristol, you know, bees. So I was going to all these towns with bees doing radio shows, and that was unique in those days to be on so many radio shows. And then the festivals, so many of them, Ram Dass and people like that, they were on the shows with me. And even John Denver was in an event we put on. It was called, it was supposed to be tied in with LA and Canada and us in London, and it was called the World Symposium on Humanity. And I knew we were the most successful in London. And I was working in magazine work in those days, and I knew that this was a dress rehearsal, just the same as when I opened up my centre in England. I knew it was a dress rehearsal. And so here I am, 30 years later, and I'm saying, okay, I've got the centre again. I just got it, and we're going to open it. It's been a year with traumas and different things happening. My dad died, and then we had rain flooding in and different things. But here it is. We finally got a place again. At the same time, I'm thinking we're ready for World Symposium on Humanity now. Not having John Denver fly over and some of us fly over here and stuff, but we can do it on this. And so I'm still kind of scared and nervous. As you know, I admitted to you, I've never used Zoom, but Zoom is going to be the way we can do it.
I love Zoom.
We can have different speakers talking to one another, and people listening in and hearing what they have to say. You know? And educate people. You know,
Yes.
who want to learn. And we can, if the world was the right way, because computers don't cost anything, we could all be in our houses. We don't have to travel. We don't have to do anything. So we can have a panel of experts.
Right.
And people can log in and get it for a fee. And I want to do this for me on Zoom. I have 115 or so shows, half-hour shows called
Okay.
Journey to the Unknown World.
Okay.
And, you can find that, and you'll see there are so many topics. And what I'd like to do is give that away. That's free.
Right.
And then do a webinar or a seminar on that topic. Now, imagine if we get other people who are talking about it as well.
Right. Yes.
So I'm thinking big, but my brain hasn't got big yet.
That's okay. No, it's always good to think big. Now, please, I was going to ask you, please share with the listeners how they can follow your work, your website, and any place they can go to find you. Share that with the listeners.
I'd like to admit that my website is not that great right now because I've had 3 people saying they're going to rebuild it for me, and it got messed up instead of rebuilt. Okay. So my poor hubby is the one fiddling with it. It's called, same as my sender, www.sumaris, S for sugar, U, M for mother, A, R, I, S for sugar again, Center American Spelling.com. And then I got a friend, mutual friend we both know, Heather Tapia, who's working with me on radio shows and things, and she's building Ask Dr. Margaret.
Okay.
So we've got 2 backing into one another now. And that Ask Dr. Margaret is if people want to write in and ask me a question, and I respond freely and so on. Whereas the website, you can learn about my crystal therapies. Did you know about those?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Well, you were talking about oneness in the energy. I'll pick it up and say, basically, we are energy, as you said.
Yes.
And I learned first, I was young, 4-ish year, 5 years, I was picking up rocks off the pathway because that's all that was available. And we played mothers and fathers and nurses and doctors. And I put the stones on my friends. They'd fall asleep and I'd watch their auras, you know. So that was my initial introduction, that stones heal. And I've written about that in the book too. But the thing about it was it evolved. And I had Master Chang, who's a very, very ancient spirit.
Okay.
And I had Parkinson's disease. I was diagnosed with it when I was 37, and it's hereditary. People don't know that, but it is hereditary through the DNA and the RNA, the way you think. And so when I was diagnosed, and it was young to be diagnosed, I was under tremendous stress, and my head was going like this, you know, and my arms were going like this. I mean, I was in advanced shakes. And my friends who were doctors said, you've got PD, you've got PD. It wasn't called that then, you had to say the whole thing. And I'm like, I can't have that. My grandma was like Muhammad Ali, walking around, you know, with a deadpan face. And I'm not going to have this. I don't have this. Right. And that's when Master Chang came into my mind, and he started to show me that my negativity and the way I was thinking, the way I'd been brought up, and the way I was looking at the world, trying to love it all and yet hating it all. Conflict, you know?
That's right. The contradiction, yes.
And I actually clinically died because they gave me, these doctors, one doctor gave me a pill which I didn't know, it was a tranquilizer, but it was a newish pill, and I didn't know anything about it, and I didn't check. And it turned out it was a heroin derivative pill.
Okay.
To calm your mind.
Okay.
Because I let it, right?
Right.
So for the first 2 weeks, I was all right, one in the morning, one in the evening or something. And the second week, the pressure coming on, it was like, did I take one or not? Because I'm starting to lose my mind. I don't know it. You know what I mean? And then by the end of the 3 weeks, I remember thinking, I'm taking one, did I take one? I don't know. Well, I'll just take 4. You know, because then I'm safe.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And then the next thing I remember was, you know, I'm thinking, someone will think they killed me. I have to write lies, because I was thinking lies of my accident.
Right.
And then the next thing I knew, I was out of body watching people trying to make me walk or something.
Okay.
And so they took me to the hospital, and they'd gone through my purse, and they kept saying, how many of these did you take? One going, apparently I'm saying 20. And there was about 8 bottles in my purse. So, aspirins are different things. So they told my eldest son, who was 15 then, and my husband, that I was going to die that night. Okay. So they got me in, they got me on watch and so on. And sure enough, I did. My heart stopped.
Right.
And then I had a conversation. A short version of this is basically, I said, I can't stay here. I can't do this work your style because it's impossible. I've got too much, And,
right.
And they said, yes, you can. You haven't even started your work yet. And I said, don't do that. I'm going to leave. And then they said, well, okay. And it was like, oh, God, I feel so guilty. I'm letting the team down.
Right.
So I said, you've got to give me something to stay, something, some hope.
Okay.
And they said, we promise we will.
Okay.
And at that point, I felt something in my heart. And then I remember sort of a pain shooting through me. And then I was aware that I had a body. I wasn't awake, but I could feel something in my body.
Right.
Well, I got proof of the pudding, not imagination, because the nurse that was on duty making me, watching all this going on,
right,
was the neighbor of my best friend. And she was on night duty. And
okay.
She went and banged on her door and told her, your friend's in the hospital and we saved her. She died last night.
Oh, my goodness.
So I had confirmation it wasn't a psychic out of body thing or anything like that.
Right.
And then the next day, they asked me, why did I try to commit suicide? And I said, what are you talking about?
It was an accident.
Yeah, but then I thought, yeah, I did die. Because
okay.
Subliminally, in this marriage with these kids are driving me crazy and all my patients.
I understand, yes.
So I had to acknowledge that I had the death wish, and later on it made so much sense because my mum used to say all the time, I wish I was dead every time something went wrong.
Yes.
And my grandma, her mum, used to sit when I was under, because she passed by the time I was 10. She would sit there and tell me how all I have to do is slip my hands, I could be gone, and that kind of talks to me. Nobody cares about me, nobody loves me. I think I'm going to go and take pills, So 3 generations to me, I'm the 3rd one.
Right.
I want to get off the planet.
Okay. Yeah.
But what I didn't know was that was going to connect me to the higher echelon of the oneness in knowing I was connected.
Right.
Before that, I was downloading. I was here, they were there,
Okay.
They're up there in heaven and I'm downloading.
Okay.
Too, all that knowledge was in me.
Right.
And all they had to do was press the buttons. Okay, we're going to talk about this, and start talking. Boop, boop, boop. I know it.
Right. Well, in truth, that's my thing with organized religion.
When you go forward, your volume goes down.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, but you're half the tone. I don't know what you're connected to.
Oh, well, actually, I'm just talking through the computer mic. Oh. Sorry.
It's going quiet. Yeah, go on.
Okay. Well, no, what I was saying is that, in truth, the thing about organized religion, it makes us think that God is up there and we're down here and we're separate from God. So that's my biggest thing when I understood the truth, that we're not separate from God. We're not separate from the oneness, and we never are and we never can be. But many don't understand that. Can you hear me okay? Okay.
Yeah, I'm checking me, but you're
yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just checking if it's me or you. But when you go like that, that's when I lose you sometimes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Right. You're allowed to do it.
But what you said about what you realized when you came back from your, I guess it was a near-death experience. And when you came back from your near-death experience, you realized your connection to God, and all in the oneness. And
I didn't realize it at all.
oh, I mean,
it didn't click in until about 2 years later.
Oh, okay.
I knew I'd downloaded something, but I didn't know what it was. And it was while I was working with Master Chang and working on my Parkinson's disease.
Right.
Doing the crystal acupuncture,
okay.
which is using a crystal on your points and different parts that normally an acupuncturist would use. But it's not the stone that penetrates, it's the energy.
Yes.
Through the stone into
yes.
The
now, it sounds like you turned down your mic because I can't hear you as well.
No, I don't know. I've only got this on.
Okay.
I'm not used to it, so I don't know.
Okay.
Switch on it, so I don't know what's happening.
Okay.
Anyway, it's okay.
It's okay. I can still hear you. Okay. So now I understand. You didn't realize that you're connected to the oneness until 2 years after that experience. I see.
Well, that's not actually. I'll rephrase that. I always knew I was connected to the oneness because I've done that my whole, to those years. I didn't know till 2 years later that I had downloaded the entire understanding of all that is.
Oh, okay.
So that I was able to write that book that you mentioned, which is now called Journey into an Unknown World, The Way to Oneness Revisited.
Okay, I understand.
When that came through me, it unlocked everything.
Okay, I understand. Well, for me, it was, I'm working on my first book, but for me, understanding the truth of oneness just opened. I understood everything that I couldn't understand and was struggling with. I understood when I understood the simple truth of oneness for me, which is there is no separation. A separation is an illusion, but we're all a part of God and we never can be separated. And when I understood that at a heartfelt level, it changed my world, So, yes.
Yeah. One of the things that they told me at the time when I was going through all this was, I wrote it in the book too. The difference between me and others, and it's not egotistical, it's just as an analogy that they gave me.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is I'm on the floor, scrubbing the floor with everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is I'm enjoying scrubbing the floor, watching everybody else scrubbing the floor along with them while they're busy complaining. I don't know why I'm down here scrubbing the floor. And so the floor is here, planet Earth.
Okay.
So, I have fun watching people and seeing it. And it sounds awful saying I'm having fun watching their pain. No, I'm not having fun. I know how they feel. But there's a part of me that is enjoying it because I know it's going to move them on.
Yes.
To something else.
Exactly.
So I don't want to change it. I don't want to alter anything. And so one of the things I always say to my patients or clients is, if you need me, call me. I'm not going to tell you like other doctors, oh, I need you to come next week and keep them coming back. That's a habit, it's a routine people don't need. We've got a psychiatrist in our town here, the only one because it's a small town. And some of his people have been going there 2 or 3 years. They get their little script and how are you today? I said to them, how long are you in there? 10 minutes, okay. And so on and so forth. And I'll just get more depression, more this, more that. They come to me, I spend 2 hours with them. I help them get to the root with their soul coding. I help them understand what they're thinking, what they're feeling, and how they're going. And I hypnotize them, but that history doesn't matter anymore because you're now in the new vein of the oneness, and I'll put them on the table if they need it, and I'll spend an hour working on them, and I'll clean out all 5 bodies that make up the aura, and they get off that table and it's like I'm a different person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's how quickly we can change the energy of someone in 2 hours by the way they think, the way they feel, and the way they use this body, and the way they connect to the oneness.
Right.
And I had a doctor in Japan who's a psychiatrist, and she came to do one of my oneness workshops.
Mm-hmm.
And she took that, she told me at the times that her time with each patient, because Japan has got so many depressed people, was 5 minutes.
Mm.
They walk in the door, she writes a script, tells them to come back next week.
Oh, okay.
You know, that bad. There's that
Right.
many depressed people. So when I told her what to do, including the hypnosis, she applied it. Because she was depressed because she couldn't help everyone, you know, too many. And that next time I saw her, she came to my class, and she just grabbed me and she's saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I said, what? Because I didn't remember, you know. And she said, retold me the story. And I said, well, what changed? She said, me.
Mm.
And I said, well, how did that change the work? She said, well, when they come in, instead of the hospital making me book every 10 minutes, I went out and I told my secretary out there every 15.
Right.
Don't you dare. So she, three times the time they had before.
Right.
And she had them come in, sit down, put them in hypnosis the way I showed her, give them a new point of view, record it on their iPhone, tell them to listen to it 21 times every day, and then they come back and she go, how do you feel? I'm much better, but I've got something else wrong. You know, there's always something. There's layers and layers of stuff in us.
Right, right.
Parents, and, you know. So, but she was so excited because so many people, she was out of that simple technique, a little bit of hypnosis and a little bit of finger doing the crystals she did as well.
Right.
And they just got better. So anyone listening to your show, you know, I hope they want to call in and ask you about it, or, you know, go and look for it online.
Well,
and I have books on that too.
Yes, and I do have your website link on my website. They have a link to your website from my website.
Yeah, you've got louder now.
Oh, okay. But I always share with everyone that we are all divine, unique aspects of the divine. So you are uniquely an aspect of the divine. No one else like you, but you're and I. So we're all unique aspects of the divine, and we all can tap into that divinity within us. So that is so true. That is so true. But I want to share with you what you know, and the listeners who may not know. Global Oneness Day is coming up. The 8th annual Global Oneness Day is coming up this year. And this year we did record it in Zoom. So this year is the first year that it's going to be videotaped. It's been audio for 7 years, but this year is actual video. And I encourage everybody to register. It's for free. A free 12-hour telesummit with over 50 amazing speakers. Go to globalonenesssummit.org or just Google Global Oneness Day and the information will come up. But I helped produce it. I'm working with Humanity's team for the past year and a half, and I helped produce Global Oneness Day this year. So I encourage everybody to just register for free. You can listen to it live all day that year. Well, when I say live, it's pre-recorded, but it's going to stream live on Global Oneness Day, and it'll be available for 48 hours after that. So
I was really astounded when I heard that they were doing Oneness Day and it had been done for a while, because as I told you earlier on, I didn't know that this was on. And as you can tell by the way I'm talking and how I founded it, I didn't know. I was really amazed to find that one word has evolved to a group of people, you know, putting on this event, which is that seminar I was talking about, you know, that I was saying.
Right.
It's kind of that thing.
Yes.
You know, and I would like to be a part of that because, you know, it's my essence. It's what I came in with and it's what I've shared. And look, it was like, wow, they're doing a seminar on oneness. It's something I started, and I was just like, and I said to Master Chang, and still pops in, of course, because I'm still evolving. I've been studying the brain so deeply, and now science, as you said, is saying what I was saying when I was 21.
Yes.
About the brain. And people will look at me and go, no, how do you know that? I just know it, because you can't explain to people how you downloading. And
Right.
I could see the nerve, I could see the ganglias, I could see how people were processing. I could look inside their brain with just my fingertips, and I could see where a tumor was or whatever it was, and I
Right.
could break it down into its molecules,
Right.
and put it through the skin, through the the whole system of the blood system. I direct it into the digestive system.
Right.
And all this was going on with Chang in my head,
Mm-hmm.
so that I could know what was happening to the body. It was a marvelous teacher to me.
Right.
In terms of downloading what we are like. And I really want to say we are amazing genetic engineering, because as we all know, we were not just here, we were made.
Right.
And we, when I keep fast forwarding because there's so many stories. But when I was about, I'm just trying to think, I must have been about 24, something like that. And I was telling someone that Mary, and the egg of Mary,
Okay.
and sperm of Joseph was
Mm-hmm.
laid outside the body and put into Mary's body. Everybody said that's blasphemous, or everybody said it's impossible. And then when we had the first, I don't know if you're old enough to remember the first test tube baby, they took the mother's egg and they took the father's sperm and they did it in a little gel.
Yes.
Right. And then when it had germinated, then they put it into her womb.
Right.
And placenta grew, and she was the first test tube grown baby.
Oh, okay.
That's how Jesus was done. Only it wasn't done by it wasn't done by some scientists. It was done by aliens. Now here I had to step out of my closet, because in the world of spiritual stuff, you can't mix religion and philosophy with aliens.
Right.
But I had alien encounters of the first kind on their ships, okay? And they made me pregnant, and they took it. And I used to go and bring her up, and I could see her, and they tried to block my mind because of hypnosis. And I got to a point where I could unblock it, and I could see her, and they're on another planet now. They populated another planet.
Right.
And these were things that I knew when I was 10 years old, you see, that we came from another planet. And I'm telling people, and adults, of course, and they're going, no, dear, you're a bit doolally. What's wrong with what? And so finally I wrote this last book that I've just done called My Journey into the Oneness. And committed it on paper, what happened.
Okay.
And so I've come out of the closet because I didn't want, because I'm also a trance medium. And what that means is I can surrender my body and come out and be a blob up in the ceiling, and they'll speak through me with the accents and everything. Okay?
Right.
And it was very popular in England in the 60s through 70s.
Right.
And when I got over here in the 80s, it just started.
Right.
So I had it was like going back in time for me, but I had to join what was popular in order to be seen and heard and make my connection. And at that point, I began to understand so much more. Coming to America, it opened doors for me. I could, India was very tight knitted and you can't do this. Whereas here I could go, I had my own TV show and, different things.
Right.
And it made me grow and it made me evolve. And all the while I got Master Chang in my head because he was bringing me people for me to fix.
Okay.
And it was just incredible. And I saw, for example, I had a young man, he had MD, muscular dystrophy.
Okay.
And I was working on the right brain for the left side.
Right.
And we got him that he could stand and jump and do all this kind of thing that I'm doing here, whereas his father was like,
Right.
And his mother brought him every week, and I worked on him for about 6 or 7 weeks, quite a while. And then she said, okay, I said to him, well, it's time to do the other side. Okay.
Okay.
So on the day he was due to come, I'm sick, Mom. Do you want to go? He was only 18.
Mm.
And every time we made an appointment, he didn't come. And in the end, I was so frustrated because I was researching, you know, with Chang through his body, and he was my test, if you like, to see,
Right.
you know, my scientist self, you know, working.
Right. Right.
And so I was kind of frustrated. And then Master Chang said, when will you understand the divine will cannot invade the lower conscious will of self? And should he desire to be in a wheelchair, there is nothing you can do to change that. But
Exactly.
even if God stood before you right now and gave you all the healing power to heal a whole room, which I can do, by the way, those who want it are going to get it, and they go away better. And there was one time I actually channeled Jesus in the Mind Body Spirit event, Whole Life Expo in
Right.
LA. And because he said he wanted people to talk to Jesus the man,
Right.
not Jesus the Christ.
Right.
So I'm not there. I'm there. He's there, and it was recorded, so I was able to watch it later, which was good.
Right.
I love that because I don't know what's going on when it's happening. And I got 3 phone calls from people in the room after within a month or so. Those 3 people had all had cancer badly. And when they went to have all their tests, it had all gone. And that was Jesus.
But I like what you just said, that Master Chang said, it's the free will. It is everyone. We all are divine aspects of God. We all came here for a purpose and a reason, and we create our challenges for our sole purpose, our sole reason. And so we love and have compassion for everyone, but it's about them wanting it. A person has to want it. Yes. But this has been an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for coming on to Awake to Oneness. And I understand now we are living in amazing times. I first heard of Humanity's Team and the Global Oneness Day in 2010. Their first, because I awoke to the truth of oneness in 2007. So in 2010, I don't know, I was on the internet, Global Oneness Day. Okay, what is that? So that's how I first heard of them. And like I said, I've been working with Humanity's Team now for about almost 2 years. And I feel very honored to be producing Global Oneness Day this year.
I'd be really appreciative if you could just mention me.
Oh, well, definitely. Oh, definitely. I definitely have already. Steve has everything. Matter of fact, that's how I discovered you, was from the email that you had sent to Humanity's Team. So.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it was very interesting to discover it, because you can imagine I've been, I felt like I was the poster boy walking around with the word oneness on, I should say God, saying, have you seen this yet? Do you know what this is? And so to find that there's actually someone who's got the word and using it and bringing the people together, the idea of the webinar.
Actually, I don't know if you're on Facebook, but actually Oneness is very big now. I actually have co-founded another organization this year, in March of this year. It's the Universal Oneness Alliance. Is an organization I co-founded with 4 other nonprofit organizations. It's Awake to Oneness Radio, Universal Unity, Awakening to Our Truth, and Metasoul. So us four organizations came together and created Universal Oneness Alliance. So, but on Facebook just alone, you type in oneness, you'll find a ton of organizations with that word oneness. So it's definitely blossomed. We're awakening.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't pay any attention to it because, the other reason is this, that I was told by the oneness generally, I have another particular guide that's been my teacher, that's Cornelius Tacitus, he was a Roman senator and historian and accountant. He did everything. And he does a lot of readings with me, psychology and psychiatry, all it comes into it. And he told me, I was very young, do not read other people's books. And I'd gone to the library, and all I found was like the I Ching, which was paranormal in those days, and the rest of it was all, you know, Mohammedism or Muslimism or whatever you want to call it. And I'm just saying that about those people and you know, the Jesus bit and the Buddha bit. And oh, by the way, I've been channeling Siddhartha Buddha since I could walk.
Okay.
And because I wasn't, you know, I'm not a Buddhist, I could believe him. So all the philosophy and theology and spirituality that I came to understand about the oneness came through him. And the balance between the mind and the emotions, you know, harmony between the two.
Right.
And so coming back to Cornelius, he told me, do not read anyone else's works. And, and I know why now, because there's a lot of wrong hearsay, guessing. People are saying this is the truth. I mean, it's their truth, and the people who follow him, it's their truth, and they're in their nest. So, you know, and that's what they should be doing. But it's not actually the truth about how the oneness works. It actually, it by its energy, it's like a ball. I'm holding my hands up here so people can see. It's like a ball, and it's constantly moving and shifting like this. And it's entwined. So I'm reading this, and I put a ball of noodles on the front cover of my book, Quantum Entanglement, which explains it all. So it comes together by vibration, and eventually it gels, and it gels, and it gels, and it becomes solid. But in the center here of my hands is energy, vibration, vibration like this, until eventually it blows apart. And now we feel miles away from everyone else, and we're so free. And then, oh, I'm belonging. Where do I belong? I have to find this bit. I'm looking for my bit. And in our time, we're saying, I'm looking for Prince Charming or Princess, you know, and, you know, soulmate or something. But the truth is, we're all soulmates. But we just don't understand the way it works.
Yes, that's so true.
I hope people will begin to realize that every single life, whether it's for a minute or, like my dad, 100, you know, it's a valuable life.
Yes.
Even if they sit in a chair all day long and do nothing, for the people come and go and see them sitting in a chair all day long doing nothing, there is something going on.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. Everyone, every single, there's 7.5 billion people on the planet, and every single one, every single soul is just as important as a millionaire. It has nothing to do with money. It's every soul has a purpose and a meaning, and every soul is needed. There's not one of us that's not needed. That is so true. That's
There's
so true.
No accidents, in other words.
Yes, exactly. Yes. But thank you so very much. So much.
I want to say thank you for having me, because it's nice to talk to someone about the oneness. And it's also, I have to admit that when I talk about the things I've done, I know I need to because people are interested, but I always feel like I'm bragging because I'm not. Essence, really, you know what I mean?
This is what my show is about. My show is about people that understand the truth of oneness and living the truth of oneness, and they come to share their experience of living oneness with the world. That's what the show is about. So, always great. Thank you so much. I appreciate this. This is wonderful. And we will keep in touch. And definitely, you have to check out Global Oneness Day. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.